When most of us hear of the state of Georgia, we don't think of island lifestyle.
We're the redneck Riviera.
This place feels like old money. You're Shrimp King.
So you got 2 beds here, bigger bed for the captain.
I'm taking you on the cart.
No way. 3 different islands, 3 completely different identities. The old gates to the island that was exclusive. No one could enter. And now we're gonna cruise, see what it's like for the people living here.
This is an old fortress.
Many of you have heard of Jekyll Island. 6 men from the elite, the banking and financial world. So what's it like economically these days? These streets are beautiful.
This is a fantastic place.
Rockefeller's winter residence.
It's easy to tap into nature. It's easy to enter that realm of timelessness.
Banjas and open container.
That's right.
That's what you want.
That's what we got.
Good morning, guys. Here we are coming into Tybee Island. And when most of us hear of the state of Georgia, we don't think of island lifestyle. And so today we're gonna get into it. 3 different islands, Tybee, Jekyll, St. Simon's. We crossed a bridge, then we have some marshland, big houses off in the distance. So Tybee is about 30 minutes from Savannah. This part of Georgia, if you look at a map, ton of islands, some completely uninhabited, others like Tybee, people are living obviously. Gotta say, Tybee streets are pretty quiet. No signs of life other than cars. Let's check this place out. You already got one.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, man.
On Tybee, generally 10 a.m. is when we start the day.
Is it a late morning here?
It's a very late morning. Personally, I do early mornings, Tuesdays and Thursdays anyhow. But for working, I would say the shops don't really start to open until 10.
Yeah.
So you'll see all of us going to the very few coffee shops that we actually have.
And this is one of them, World of Candy.
Yes. You ain't Tybee.
You ain't Tybee is what?
You ain't Tybee is a saying that was made up by a resident OG local. His name is Joel. And so he and some of his buddies will heckle the tourists that are driving around and will let you know that you are not a local, but they're happy to have you here anyway.
You're taking me on the cart?
I'm taking you on the cart.
No way.
This is your open air limo, and I want you to just kind of look around at the island. And this is not to slam Tybee, but this is as fancy as we ever got. And this is how we like it. To be stuck in the past means you are forced to slow down, and that is how the locals want to be. We live slow, we keep the stress levels low, and so even if you show up late, it's Tybee time.
Tybee is a bit in the 90s.
Indeed, that's thanks to the Olympics. The Olympics wanted to have their volleyball games here. We didn't make the cut. The strip clubs were a big no-no for the commissions. They ended up using us for the wind and the water for the Olympics.
To do Olympics, you need strip clubs?
No, we had too many strip clubs,
Okay.
Although that would have made a great sport. No, they ended up using us for the sailboat races only.
Okay.
And so that brought a little bit, but we had a facelift here in the early 90s just trying to appeal to the Olympic Commission. We thought that we could bring a lot of money to revitalize the island. We really fell off the radar at the end of the 60s during inflation. And then from there, we've kind of taken it over. There's just about...
Oh, thank you for this.
Maybe just over 3,000 locals that actually live on this island. So, you know, the seatbelts are an option here. We aren't popping wheelies on the carts, but...
You do have the necker knob.
Yes, this is suicide knob right here, just in case we go off-roading, which does happen.
So this is your job?
This is what I do.
This is what you do?
I left the
classroom
lucky me,
after
15 years, and this is what I do.
Left the classroom, you were a teacher.
I was a history educator and professor for 15 years. The history teacher in me wants to automatically wave over here at what we call the White House on Tybee. This is an old communications cottage to a military base established here in 1897 for the Spanish-American War.
You know your history here.
Yes.
Okay, so, back to teaching. You quit teaching to do this.
I did.
Do you miss teaching?
I'm teaching every day. I'm teaching you right now. You just don't know it.
There you go.
We're traditionally a tiny island with a drinking and surfing problem. People would prefer to hit the bars, hit the beach, and then take a nap. And so it's really nice to fit the gap of actually sharing the history of the island. I mean, we're passing the old day hospital and the old morgue there. So when we had a fort here, I don't know if you know anything about Spanish-American War, it didn't even last a year. Nothing was finished here at the fort. And so they ultimately decided to turn us into a government party island. We started greasing the pockets of congressional members that are coming here on vacation, and I'm going to take you around to see how those officers lived.
Oh, cool.
These are lived in by locals. Now there is one that can be rented. It's a bed and breakfast called Surf Song, but otherwise these houses were all snatched up in the early 1960s by a single family. We love them though because of the historic preservation.
Oh, that's great. Look at those oaks. Those oaks are so beautiful. Those are oaks, right?
They are live oak trees.
Live oaks. Is there such thing as a dead oak? Why do you call them live oaks? I mean, dead oak is dead.
I'm not sure why they get the name live. I do know that they have a very dense wood, and certain live oaks, you can tell the density of the wood based on the size of the leaf. We do have an original gazebo. So speaking of Party Island, Tybee is still a party island. We have open container here. So as long as you are not in the driver's seat, you can have not glass. I mean, they're...
What do you got in there? Do you have some Baileys?
This is, listen, if it had Baileys, you'd be holding it. But you can have a drink as long as you're not the driver and it's not in glass. So open container, but imagine most of the cellars that you're going to see in the sergeants and above with these officers, they have liquor stills in their basements. And then they would use gazebos like this one to hide from the heat while they sipped and enjoyed the band as they paraded through this area, which is now a coveted HOA on the island.
This is tourist stuff, or is it second home stuff? What is it?
Homes.
Okay.
The city has said...
That contrast.
This is a local home, as you can understand. So the city has done the math. If everybody lived on the island that owned a home, like these secondary homes, our population would be nearly 30,000 residents.
And it's 3,000.
And it's 3,000.
Okay.
So people are just coming here for a few weeks out of the time. Some of them do rent out their houses. And I encourage people when they come to Tybee, look at the local rentals, because locals are renting out their home spaces without that motel hotel tax.
So that's the old military housing there.
Yes, it is. You see the ghost inside too, right? We got all kinds of spirits here on Tybee Island.
Is that a thing here?
It is.
Is that a Georgia thing? Because in Savannah they're talking about it too.
Savannah is considered to be one of the most haunted cities in America, and I have to agree, there's lots of spooky apparitions. On Tybee, I would like to say that we're haunted, but I do think it's the alcohol spirits that get the best of us. So these are all the officers' homes, and it's a really untapped part of our history, and because they were bought by private families, they have stayed with their integrity of history.
Oh, cool.
But you can also stay down here in the history too. That's one of the cool things about the island. It's a mixture of both the modern and the old, but we are so passionate about our history that they have made the structures look very much like the old. So you would think that these are a part of the old history. They're not.
They're not. Those are new.
They're new. We have a nickname on Tybee. You may have heard of it. We are the Redneck Riviera.
I didn't know. I knew nothing about Tybee until 2 days ago.
As long as you don't call us Tybee, we're Tybee Island. It's all right. We're happy to have you.
Some redneck spirit out here.
Oh, we're all, get out your banjo. Matter of fact, there's a little bar, Docks, down on the south end by the pier, and they still break out the banjos every Tuesday night. So open mic, bring your instrument, and we all get to clapping.
Banjos and open container.
That's right.
That's what you want.
That's what we got. My friend Jenny is in this last home. Her grandmother, Wilma, she was a world-renowned architect in 1964, bought the first 5 of these officers' homes for $5,000 a piece. The family still lives in them. And so the really cool thing in the basement here that Jenny has shared is the remnants of what an internee, a Nazi German spy, was held here during World War II.
You had the U-boats off here not too far away.
We sure did. And there were murals painted all along the walls from that spy that was held captive here, and they're still intact.
Can we get in there?
Probably not.
Okay. Okay, so you were saying, I had the camera off, you've been all over the world.
Yes.
Tybee's your final stop, your place.
It has everything that you could want. Not only are you on a small island, you are required to have community, right? A small island, you have to know your neighbors. But we also have bodegas, little stores at several of the central locations. So no matter where you're living, you just walk to your little bodega. It's open until 11, whatever you may need, your ice cream or your candies or whatever. But we also have so many reasons to play on the island. We have parades scheduled throughout our year, and we love when we have our tourists come out here as well. We get about 2 million tourists annually.
Oh, it's a big deal out here.
It's what we're running on.
Okay.
We are based on tourism, and we absolutely love our tourists. Look at our live oak becoming an angel over here.
What's an angel when the branch goes down?
That's right. When the limbs touch the ground, they say that the angels are gracing the ground with their limbs. So we're happy to say that Tybee is a lot of heart and soul. And because we have just a few locals that are making her stay this beautiful, so much integrity with her history, I feel like we are the ones that are keeping her in alignment with what she's always been. You know, Tybee before the 1930s had about a 40-60 black-white population. There was no racial tension.
Okay.
It was so challenging to make this island take off that everybody had to work together, and we still have that same method of living on the island. Everybody works together. This was not constructed until after 1898. None of it was finished until after the war that it was established for was over. We never used these in battle.
Okay, so you're just getting ready for the next battle.
So basically, Tybee Island, while we were intended to protect the river, the city of Savannah, we were a party island. We never had war.
But there's a fort between here and Savannah.
And that is Fort Pulaski.
Yeah.
Fort Pulaski was constructed out of more than 25 million bricks, and it was built, I believe, starting at the end of the 1820s, would span not finishing until the end of the 1840s, and they would use that during the Civil War. This is the fourth iteration of the lighthouse. The third iteration, the Confederate soldiers burned down when the Union was on their way, and the bottom 60 feet were brick, so it didn't burn. The Union used that as their staging for to put the rifle cannons and launch their attack, and that's when they blew the hole open on that fort.
What year did the Union get control here?
It was spring, April of 1862.
Wow, I met the right person. You know all the dates.
All of the things. And so ultimately, you may see a sign when you come on and off the island. This is to pay homage to the mistreatment of the Confederates of that Fort Pulaski. We turned it into a prisoners of war camp and we starved them out. Only 13 of the men starved to death, so we named that section of highway the Immortal 600 Soldiers Memorial Highway. You will see that sign and you will go, ah, whenever you come back to the island.
Okay, so in northern education, northeastern education, perhaps it was, you know, everything bad Confederate, everything good Union. The narrative, the basic narrative, the basic narrative.
Unless you're in the South, and in the South it's the, you know, the war between states, and they say the South won, which we know is not the case. Now that the history is behind us, it's maybe not so much important to say what is good or what is bad, but what we should not repeat.
It's a good way of saying it.
It's easy to tap into nature. It's easy to drop your phone. You don't even bring it with you. You're going for a walk and you enter that realm of timelessness on Tybee. And the locals, we are the ones that are choosing not to have the high rises, not to have the corporations come in.
Right, I noticed that. No high rises.
35 feet. That's the height variation.
Okay.
The variance.
What's rent like here? We're going negative now. I finally got you on something.
Luckily, I am a homeowner, but we, you know, for someone who needs employees, it's really hard to find affordable housing. However, if people are coming and they're renting, there are several businesses that are family owned that have bought houses and have turned them into affordable housing for employment.
Okay, but it's a tight housing market, I can
Very
imagine.
tight.
We're on an island, not many homes.
You're not gonna find a studio probably under $1,500 here. Like 400 square, it's New York, California.
It's a bit lower, but that's...
Yeah, we call it New York and California because we're not used to it. You know, back in 2015, you saw 1 bedroom, 1.5 bathrooms for $700.
Okay.
So just in a decade, this has over doubled.
Look at this.
Isn't this amazing?
Jacqueline, I had no idea. I never thought of Georgian islands or Georgian beaches. Me being in my own world, I guess, and not being in this part of the country enough.
We're the beginning of the Golden Isles. I think that we're often overlooked because of how small we are, you know, just some 15 miles off the coast of Savannah. But we have it all. We have a beautiful beach. We have a surf break. So where these jetties are, an old installation to prevent sand erosion. When the sands fill, or when the waters fill in at high tide now, this is where we surf. When it's low tide like this on a less windy day, you're gonna see all of the fishermen lined up here doing their fishing scene and thing.
This is nice sand.
It's great sand.
I mean, this is wet. We're at low tide, but...
You can see the rack line, so high tide's gonna come up to here.
Yeah.
We're fabulous for shark tooth hunting. Because of the river's exit right here at the Savannah River, you know, the little bull sharks, they're born with about 50 rows of teeth and they litter their teeth on our shores.
Okay.
So we have awesome shark tooth hunting. They're about to do something that the locals love. It's called a low tide ride. So at low tide, you time it, you bring out your beach cruiser, and that's that timelessness element of Tybee, where you just ride your bike. You're not touching your phone, you're watching the beach, you're watching the birds, you're watching the dunes, and you're just enjoying life.
Is this, okay, summertime, would this be crowded or not really?
completely crowded. There's
Okay.
a few sections of the island and the beaches that the locals know to go, but this area right here is called the locals beach. So this is North Beach, and past the jetty line all the way up toward the river, this is where the locals are going to set up, and we have our own little private section here. The reason why the tourists are not as inclined to go that direction is it's further away from the restroom and a restaurant. How precious is that?
Yeah, that's what you want.
You're a kid again.
I mean, they got the screens, but they're just taking photos. Gonna remember it. Look at, they're having a
She
great
said,
time.
I love it. Yes, you do. You get to be a child again on this island. It's Hilton Head just across the way.
Okay, that's famous. Hilton Head.
Yes.
That's South Carolina. Super wealthy, right?
Very wealthy. Of course, it's corporate, and it's a maritime forest rather than a sand barrier island.
Okay, so I'm going to Jekyll today
Cool.
in St. Simon's.
Oh, yes.
And the goal of the video is to show 3 different islands, 3 different existences for the locals. Because they all have different vibes, right?
Yes. Jekyll is great. You're going to see some of the history there. But I will say, as you keep going south, it's like bigger money, bigger money. And as soon as you cross to the island, you got to pay.
Are you serious?
Huh? You got to pay to cross the bridge.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it's like a $10 fee that they're going to charge you. And Tybee's not that, right? We joke and say we're Redneck Riviera, but the locals do not want to stop people from coming here. It should not be about cost.
Okay.
It should be about, do you want to go to the beach and do you want to relax and be able to check out of the world that you are wanting an escape from? We offer that. We're not having you roll down your window at the bridge and give a credit card. This is a old fortress and a really great example of how Tybee has let its history continue to be without adapting, manipulating to modern. And so this is Old Battery Haversham. This is all original. It is a fortress poured to face the North Savannah River. It was finished in the year 1900. And keep in mind, we didn't even have but 200, maybe 250 enlisted men that managed the entire fort. So it was a very low numbers, a very non-intrusive fort by any means. It was, of course, bolstering with the tourism. So these enlisted men who did not have to worry about war were really worried about going to the south end of the island to find a girlfriend on vacation. Could you imagine being stationed here? No war, you're not really worried about anything. You just gotta walk the beach down about 1.5 miles and that's where all the parties are happening. It's a good place to live.
So it's all behind here. The fortress is still there.
And it's not developed, it's untapped. The city still owns it, and it faces our police department on the other side. It's a one-stop shop here. It's Mayberry.
That's a nice police department.
Jail, offices, and courthouse.
I've never seen a jail look so nice.
With the rocking chairs on the
Right, looks like a nice restaurant and a place to get married, maybe. Exactly. I got lucky meeting you. So thank you.
It's an honor.
I wouldn't have seen any of that. And I got a lot of ground to cover today.
Yeah.
But I do want to tell people what you do. And you do this, right?
I do this, yeah. We operate the tours on the island, Tybee Tour Company. We're easy to find.
Okay, I'm going to leave your link because you're awesome.
Thank you. Bring your family next time y'all come back. Call me
Okay.
directly and I'll hook y'all up.
So here's the Tybee Tour Company.
It is easy to find us. I'm the only tour company on the island.
Are you serious?
Everything else is on the water.
All right, guys, we're back on the mainland in a town called Darien. We're gonna get onto Jekyll Island soon, but I just want to check out this cool little town here with these beautiful circles. Never seen anything like it. But the road just wraps around these little parks. Yeah, these streets are beautiful. Slow living out here. The sound that the Spanish moss makes, very soothing. Sort of like the winds in a cornfield or tall grass, ocean waves, sort of that melodic effect going on. How you doing, ma'am? Your trees are amazing.
Yeah, aren't they wonderful?
What's Darien known for?
Shrimping.
Shrimping. Is that still happening? It's still going on.
Oh yeah.
Great. So they're fishermen here.
Under the waterfront, you'll be able to see the shrimp boats.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you. So we'll cruise down to the waterfront and then get out to Jekyll Island. Many of you have heard of Jekyll Island from the famous book, The Creature from Jekyll Island, and the story of how the Federal Reserve was started. It's a nice little downtown here in Darien.
Better with the TV stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
You want with the TV stuff?
he was on there too.
I do a channel, he actually watches my stuff, but all over the country, get it from the locals. What's fishing like right now?
Well, right now we're working on boats. We're like doing all our maintenance. This is our maintenance time of year.
You've always done fishing?
Yes, sir.
How is it? Is it a good career?
Fourth generation or fifth?
Fourth.
Yeah, that's my little brother right there.
How old are you?
37.
Okay, so the young guys are still getting into it.
I don't know about that. I've been doing it since I was like 10. I started running the boat when I was 15.
What's your name?
Michael.
Michael. Peter. So what's it like economically these days?
It's kind of rough. These tariffs they put on some of our imported seafood, it's helped us a little bit this past year or so. And the fuel prices come down a little bit, but...
So, okay, the tariffs have hurt global competition a little bit, made it better for you guys.
Made it better for us.
Okay, I didn't even think of that.
Yep. And to be honest, you don't know what you're eating with them anyway. Like the imported shrimp, you don't know.
So you're going out here.
We go from here to North Carolina all the way down to Cape Canaveral.
Is there an adventure to it?
Used to be. Now it's a job.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of the bunch.
How old are you?
21.
Nice. You like it?
Oh yeah, it's great. But I ain't done it long enough, I reckon.
It's just like anything else, man. It's hunting, looking, and looking, and looking, and when it's good, it's good. It's a freezer boat, so we freeze everything on here at the time. They go into this tank right here. It's a brine tank.
Okay.
And it goes down to, we get it down to about 5 below 0, so it freezes them quick. And then we put them in the hole stays 4 below, give or take.
If I want to buy Georgian shrimp, American shrimp, how do I know when I'm at a restaurant?
Ask.
You gotta ask.
Gotta ask. I think Georgia just passed a law that they have to put it on their menu to where they come from.
That's great. This is totally wild caught.
So 100% wild caught.
Do your shrimp go all over the country, or is it sort of regional?
Yeah, they go all over. One of the biggest issues that we run into is having a processing plant that can package them and all just like the imported shrimp because they're so convenient. No, they're peeled, deveined, and sometimes already cooked. You know, you can buy them when they're imported and they're all such uniform sizes, and it's just a little.
Because they're farmed.
Yeah, that's right. This whole entire waterfront used to be boats.
Down to you guys now.
No doubt. Now it's just this one. Yep.
How many guys are you out here?
I think every boat's here at the moment. So,
That's it. Okay, that's what's going on.
yeah, 3,
all right.
6, 9 to 10.
Thank you for what you do, because I love shrimp.
Yeah, man. Anytime you're around, and if these boats are working, you can buy all you want from here.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that for everyone?
For everyone.
When it's peak fishing season,
Yep.
people can come to Darien and buy from you guys.
Yep.
All right.
They can pull up, and this is going to be a little different, but we don't keep anything here. It's all fresh. It comes right off the boat, and then it goes straight to a processing plant. But if you're here while we're unloading, you can buy all you want.
So you're shrimp king.
I don't know about that.
That's what he's saying. It's skill out there to
Let's
get them
go
right.
around there and mention Ricky Boone. Let's see what everybody tells you.
Ricky Boone.
Little Ricky Boone.
Little Ricky. He's little Ricky?
That's little Ricky. That's his daddy right there.
He's not so little. What's your name?
James Lee.
This is what it's like. So you guys are living for how long out here?
You can stay on this boat up to, I mean, some people stay out a month. We typically stay out about 2 weeks or so.
Okay. Just you and how many guys?
About 4 guys. So you got 2 beds here, and this way there's 3 beds in there. Bigger bed for the captain. This more of a full size.
This
bed.
is the captain's bed.
Yeah,
The supper one.
yeah. And then you got just a little bathroom,
Okay.
and then you got a kitchen that's dirty because we're working on the boats now. This is maintenance time.
Yeah.
Whatever, but
Full kitchen?
stove, yeah, whatever.
Oh, that's awesome.
This is where you drive, whatever. Pretty basic. Radar, depth finder, all that type of stuff. We work some 10 months out the year together, 2 weeks, come home, take a day or 2, sometimes 3 days off, go back another 2 weeks.
So it's like a strong brotherhood.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Are you married?
Yes, yeah.
Is that tough on that?
To
be away,
It
or-
can be, yeah, it can be, but that's something you gotta put up with if you want to do this, I guess.
Yeah. It's your income.
Yeah, it's good money, and
That's cool. It is good money?
Yeah. Sometimes it's not. Most time it is. It just depends on how the shrimp prices, fuel prices.
Okay. Right.
How everything's going in the world, basically.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for showing me this.
Yes, sir. And then down here is just full of lights, is the breaker strip lights is off. But there's two engines, two big main engines down there, and two generators down there.
Okay. It's got to be cool being out on sea, though, too, right?
Yeah, you get sunsets every day, sunrise, sunsets, beautiful.
You sort of tap out from the world a little bit, right?
Yeah. But we got Starlink, so our phones and everything work.
Did that change a lot when you got Starlink?
Yeah, because there's some islands like Santenello Island out there. You get there before Starlink, your phone wouldn't work at all. No matter if you had Verizon, T-Mobile, what you had, your phone wouldn't work.
So you just read books or something?
You just sit there and stare out the window, I guess. I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot to do.
I believe these are the old gates to the island that was exclusive. No one could enter back in the day. It was a private club. Morgan, Rockefeller, Vanderbilt, a lot of the big wealth of the Gilded Age. This was their retreat. And it was also, we're gonna get into it, where the Federal Reserve started. The most powerful bankers in the country started the system that we still use today. So in a way, it's still private, as in you need to pay to enter. At least you can enter now. $10. They say it's a parking fee. We're in. Got a game of croquet here. The all-white team is out. First impressions, this place feels like old money. Nothing that comes as any surprise. There's a ton of history here. This is Indian Mound Cottage. Apparently there was a shell mound up front. It was Rockefeller's winter residence. Look, these homes aren't insanely massive for the amount of wealth, but they are beautiful. I think they're all gonna be locked. All right, guys, if there's a big hole in the video right now, that is because I had to remove a huge chunk. Here at the Jekyll Island Resort, they are very tight, like very tight. Even tried to film a little bit in the museum, they didn't want it. I've been trying to meet up with someone that knows the history here well. You gotta go through marketing, and then you got to go through all sorts of departments. Unfortunately, it's fallen through. I got a bike. I can show you some of the homes from afar. I can talk a little bit about them. That's the next best thing. So we're gonna cruise. We're gonna go to some of these homes and just show the grounds, the beauty of it all. Just imagine, not that long ago, the world's elite coming to the island in seclusion when it came to the Federal Reserve, but well, for the most part, in seclusion because this island was reserved for them. Private world. Sir, do you know whose house this was?
William Struthers.
Okay, thank you.
Later it was George Macy.
George Macy.
Right.
A tea importer. Here we have the Goodyear Cottage. I'm guessing Goodyear tires. That's a beauty. With only drive and ambition, Frank Henry Goodyear rose from a $35 a month bookkeeper to the head of a vast lumber, coal, iron, and railroad empire. So not tires, different Goodyear. Goodyear began his career with $100, a keen business mind, and an all-consuming drive to prosper. He left his heirs with a $10 million estate. We've got the pool. A bit cold for that. All the rooms back here. And just pathways everywhere like this. So you can do a tour here. In those trolley carts, they cruise you around, give you a tour, but we unfortunately don't have time for that. Crane Cottage, the most expensive cottage on the island at the time it was built. I believe you can stay here now. There are 13 rooms. Crane, the plumbing and hardware manufacturers. It's proof that big money often comes from not so fancy ideas. Cherokee Cottage. Edwin Gold, son of railroad magnate and financier Jay Gold, owned several properties on Jekyll Island. In 1904, he built this cottage for his in-laws. In retirement, Dr. James devoted himself to the affairs of the Jekyll Island Club. Just think of it back in the day. All this wealth here, the activities, the dances, the secret meetings, the food, everything taken care of. Right, the grounds, the properties. There's no like do-it-yourselfers, I'm sure. Golf, water, removed from the rest of the country, but in so many ways having so much power in the country. Isn't it interesting how that works? A lot of the people that control and move the levers of power are very much detached from even where we were this morning. Look at that beautiful interior. And that's not to judge, it's just to point out a reality. They're very much isolated. And so how does the everyday person think in America? And even that, for someone that's traveling like myself, that is complicated. You can be out at the shrimp boats, talking to those guys, all sorts of types, make this thing go round. That's the beauty of it. But to truly understand, it's a full-time job. It really is. And then at that, I'm learning today, all new territory. And it just goes on and on, guys. Look at this place. What a beauty. Hollyborn Mansion. Stone home. With the brick. Oh, what's that called? I forget the term. The compacted seashells cement combo. What is that for those that know in the comments? Look at that detail. Oh. Yeah, we're not getting in any of these homes. See a fireplace in the back there. And the feeling here, you'd want to go back to it for a little bit, right? Go back to those days. I mean, very few watching this channel have billions, though you'd be surprised. But for most of us, we were never in this world of living in such wealth. But it would be cool to step back for a little bit, see what this was like. I'm sure it was very stiff. Very little room to go outside the edges. I would think. You gotta dress a certain way. You gotta speak a certain way. I'm sure there were more just social rules for how you have to be in society. So that could be a little restrictive, but the simplicity in a way of not having tech or TV or anything like that. And a lot of relationships. It was all relationships. I guess that's also considered one of the first condo styles in building, in architecture. Here we have supposedly where the Federal Reserve met here. They started 1910. A secret meeting of top US financial leaders was held here at the club to draft ideas that became a blueprint for the eventual Federal Reserve System. Nobody knew they were coming here. They had their separate train car. 6 men from the elite of the banking and financial world, 1910. Let's figure out how we're gonna financially run the world. Isn't that wild? I mean, the world, because the US system, the Federal Reserve, determines so much how the world moves financially. Ben Bernanke was here. For these guys, I bet these are their heroes. So during World War II, this all sort of came to an end. The state of Georgia purchased the island in 1947 and opened it to the public as a state park. So most of this island, I believe, is owned by the state of Georgia. There are also regular citizens living here. And now we're gonna cruise, see what it's like for the people living here. All right, and right across the street, guys, looks like this. Nice residential. So people are living out here full time. I'm sure there's some second homes. Deer in the lawn. Couple deer. A lot of American flags. This zone is just hiring so many people from the mainland. I think the town is Brunswick. I'm sure a lot of people are coming over from Brunswick. That being the feeder community, and then here being the more elite community where people are hiring out those services. A place like Jekyll without a place like Brunswick, and I'm spitballing here, I could be off, but I think it's Brunswick, really doesn't operate. I doubt there's much cheap housing out here on the island. You got some cool bike paths. You got, these streets are beautiful. Think of when the sun is filtering through. It's got to be majestic out here. Golf club, tennis courts. There's not much here, guys. I'm sure there's some beautiful beaches, but as far as people and life on the streets, it's a quiet place. I think that's why people are here. They want a quiet place. A lot of older people here. Sure, multi-generational families here, but this is what it's looking like. And it goes a bit more north, just as residential, and then sort of just goes to nature. So what are we looking at? Pretty much that. We started over there. There's a little airport. That's where we were. And we're going up here. We'll turn around, go back to the south part, but first impressions, calm, nice, wealthy, orderly type of place. Looks like they're redoing this place here. How's it going, man?
Hello, sir.
How's the work going?
Right here?
Yeah. Busy? Lots of work? Muchos trabajo?
Yeah.
You guys live in Brunswick or you live here?
Live in Brunswick.
Okay, so most people work here, they live in Brunswick.
Uh-huh.
They come here, work, go home.
Yeah.
This is the hub, the center point of Jekyll Island. Beach Village. This is where it all happens. You want your nightlife, you want your t-shirts. That's about it. Okay, I think we've seen enough. Let's go to our last island, St. Simons. You can see at this time of day, all the workers coming off the island back to Brunswick or wherever here. We got the bridge up ahead. St. Simons, the biggest of the islands today. The most people also, roughly 15,000 people live on the island. And you're also getting second home snowbirds, so that I'm sure knocks up the population a bit. St. Simons has a little bit of a Hamptons feel to it. Southern Hamptons. You got everything you need here as far as restaurants, grocery stores, hardware shops, bicycle shops. You know, it looks pretty active and tourist friendly. I'm sure it gets super busy out here. Let's check out one of these roads off the main drag. This is really nice out here. It's just the trees make it. And they put the tree right in the middle of the road. This is beautiful. Yeah, Southern Hamptons feel. I haven't seen the mega plots with the huge hedges and that stuff, but like your average Hamptons neighborhood sort of feels like this. And then the swamp comes right in, Georgia style. Things just really well taken care of. And there's something about living on an island. You're so close to so much stuff here. Brunswick right over the water, but then that divide, that moat really changes the whole feel of the place. Here we go, right up to the water. Here's the first person I've seen out and about. How you doing, sir?
It's so convenient
Living over here.
living over here. You're half a mile from the post office, Winn-Dixie, Harris Teeter, half a mile that way.
You got it all.
Yeah, for somebody my age, forgive me for going into my sales pitch, but our house is on the market right now.
You're moving.
My wife, we need to be back to Colorado where we get support from family.
Okay, so I'm gonna show your house. 219.
5 Pounds Road.
If there weren't health issues, would you want to stay?
Oh, absolutely. This is a fantastic place.
What's the vibe out here? What's it like?
You could find almost any vibe, but it's especially nice for retired folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there younger families here or no?
Oh, yes. Yeah, a lot of them right on this street.
Okay.
Lots of kids.
Hello. All right, here we go. Here's Bill's house on Zillow, $975. So that's what it costs here. Has to leave because of medical reasons. Loves it here. There you go. Oh, that's beautiful. The house on the other side of that pond. How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm making a video of the area. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How is it?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah.
Are there many kids your age out here?
There's a good bit, yes sir. We all
Cool.
like ride bikes and stuff. And
You do, huh?
it's about how we get around.
You got a cool thing going out here.
Yes sir.
Where do I gotta go? If I'm here for like literally another hour, where should I go?
Probably go to like a marina or something and watch like the sunset.
Go to Marina. You in high school?
I'm a freshman, yes sir.
You go to high school here?
I gotta go to Academy.
Nice.
Yes sir.
Yeah, I love this, sir. That's awesome.
Yes sir, thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Well put together, kid. Just a lot of smiles here. I didn't put the camera because the family was in the lawn and they had their little kids, and I gotta be really careful about that. All smiles, all waves. Just really pleasant out here. You know, sometimes when you go into a neighborhood, you have the out-of-state plates. This is a rental car with North Carolina plates. They know you're not living here. There's a coldness. Not here. They open up and wave and want to talk. Really nice. I want to show you guys, there's an island off of here, totally private, like Jekyll used to be. Modern day Jekyll Island. I don't know if the camera's picking it up here, but there are a bunch of jets out there. Maybe 10, 15 on the tarmac. They've got their own private airport here. All right, we're coming up on Sea Island, all the way up the coastline there. Members and property owners only. We're not gonna be able to get on. Let's just try for the fun of it. It's not gonna happen, but we'll give it a go. How you doing, ma'am? There's no way I can cruise on here?
No, it's all private from here on back, unless you're a member or a guest at the Cloister or live on property.
Okay, how many people live out here?
It's 15 miles of beach, so
Wow.
we've got quite a bit.
That's cool. Is it beautiful?
It is pretty, and I wish I could let you go so you could show you.
I know,
But-
you seem very nice.
Yeah.
But
you just
we're not gonna do
can't.
it.
Yeah.
Is St. Simon's poor compared to this?
You know, I don't know, because I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. So
Jax, nice.
I'm
Good.
just in awe by this being this close to the beach.
Have you been out here?
Yeah, it is so pretty.
Super wealthy.
But yeah, oh yeah, I don't really question it. But I know people spend
Gotcha.
thousands of dollars to rent. I think it's like 15 to 20,000 like a night for the cottages.
Oh wow, 15 to 20,000 a
A
night.
night.
A night
A night
for the cottage.
for the cottages.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Thank you so much. Should I just turn here?
yes, sir. You can make if you go up here to the left between those two hedges, I'll take you back around.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And have a good evening.
You too. So that's as close as we're getting, guys. She said 15 to 20,000 a night for one of the cottages. And I'm gonna drop up on the screen right now Zillow listings. You can't Google Street View this place, but I'm gonna put the Zillow listings so you can get an understanding of what the prices are for homes out there. Who knew Georgia had so much money? I mean, Georgians did, or people in the South did, but I had no clue that there were these serious wealthy enclaves on these islands in the state. All right, guys, end of the road here. St. Simon's, we hardly touched it. Ran out of light. It's a big island. There's a lot going on here. And I gotta say, I got caught up on Tybee this morning with Jacqueline. That was so much fun with her that it sort of threw everything behind. My fault, because I was just enjoying myself so much. The last island here, St. Simon's, hardly saw it, so sorry to those locals. But it's interesting, right? Tybee, you have that, what felt like a real deep community, real local vibe to it. To Jekyll, the old world, And then here, this is a place where drove by high schools, grammar schools, basketball hoops, kids playing. It's more of a, I'd say more of a family type place, sprinkled in with tourists, snowbirds, and second homes, I'm sure. But 3 islands, 3 different worlds. Thanks for coming on that journey, you guys. Until the next one.